Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the National Timely Action Hour. This is the show where we talk about everything from comic books to movies and everything in between. My name is Aidan, and I hope that you're doing well today. This is my review of Spider-Man for Brand New Day, and I will be discussing spoilers, so please go watch the film for yourself and form your own opinion. Just bear in mind that this is my own personal opinion, so feel free to disagree with me if you have seen it already and think differently. So, 4 years have passed since Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange cast a spell to erase people's memories of Peter Parker. And the spell worked very well, and Peter is at his lowest point. However, Spider-Man is lauded as a hero by the people of New York City. So Spider-Man's life in the mask is at its highest point. So it's quite the contrast, but that's generally how it's portrayed in the comics. There's this thing where they say, if Peter's life is horrible, then Spider-Man's life is great, and if Spider-Man's life is horrible, then Peter's life is great. But within this 4-year span, Peter has been fighting a lot of his classic villains, like Tombstone, Tarantula, etc., etc., etc. Ned Leeds and Mary Jane Watson have attended the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They recently moved back to New York City, and they are roommates, and Peter just happens to bump into them. And that's really the inciting incident of it, along with the fact that Peter's powers, alliteration, are going out of whack because the arachnid part of his mutated DNA is becoming much more dominant, and he's having trouble controlling that. So he seeks out Dr. Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, for advice on how to deal with this. And so that's a fun interaction because it's my two favorite Marvel Comics characters sharing the screen for the first time. Also, we learn that he has a tete-a-tete with Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, and as we comic fans know, the Punisher first appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man issue 129, so seeing them on screen together for the first time is also great. And Jon Bernthal, who's been playing the Punisher just as long as Tom Holland has been playing Spider-Man, he's great in the role with the Daredevil TV show, the Punisher TV show, and the Punisher short film. And Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland are also close friends because they've worked together before, and they actually filmed each other's audition tapes for Marvel, so that's a neat little tidbit. But I really like their dynamic in the movie, and I really like Mark Ruffalo's dynamic with Tom. And Tom Holland in general is just a great actor, and I think he does a great job as Spider-Man, and the entire cast do a great job. And the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, he worked on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings as well as the Wonder Man TV show, so this is not his first foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in my opinion, this movie is his best work in Marvel. That's not to discount the previous two projects that he did. But going back to the plot summary, the Department of Damage Control, which has been featured in previous Spider-Man movies in the MCU, as well as other projects like Wonder Man, Ms. Marvel, etc., they are being attacked by this unknown person who is, Spider-Man's trying to figure out who this is, what's their motivation, what are they after, and department head of Damage Control asks Spider-Man for help. And we get the drama of Spider-Man's life in between, but the main story is Marvel Girl from the X-Men is looking for her sister Sarah, and Damage Control abducted her because of her powers, but she died during their experimentation on her, and so Jean Grey, in a fit of rage, uses her psychic powers to stop people in their tracks in New York, and she wants to kill William Metzger, the head of Damage Control, and Spider-Man convinces her not to, and then she goes out of the city, presumably to Westchester, New York, to enroll in Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, or at least the MCU version of it, because as we all know, after Avengers 6 Secret Wars, which is releasing next year, 2027, the MCU will do a soft reboot, and so they're gonna like blend the MCU with the Fantastic Four Earth 828 that they established, as well as the 20th Century Fox X-Men universe. And so it's going to be one whole world where the X-Men and Fantastic Four have always existed, but, you know, we just didn't see them. Also along the way, Spider-Man asks Black Widow for help for figuring out who was attacking Damage Control, and we also see Mary Jane interacting with the Punisher because Spider-Man leaves her at his hideout while he goes and fights the Hulk, who's being mind controlled by Jean. And in terms of cameos, we also get this flashback to when Aunt May learned that Peter was Spider-Man at the end of Homecoming, and that's a really nice scene with Marissa Tomei, who's a great actor, and like I said, everyone does a good job in this movie. On a scale of 1 to 5, because I rate movies 1 to 5, with 1 being horrible and 5 being amazing, say that again, I would have to give this movie a 5, because this could very well be the greatest Spider-Man film I have ever seen in my entire life, either on par or surpassing Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which is mind-blowing because I thought that was the undisputed champion, but then Destin Daniel Cretton said,
I'm like, boom, you looking for this?
I really, really love this movie because of the visuals. It looks so, the cinematography looks really good, and the color grading, it looks better than the previous Spider-Man movies, and it looks better than most MCU movies, and the story is fantastic. The acting again is fantastic. I like the music. They choose some cool songs from real life, and the action scenes are great. Having Michael Bando return as Scorpion for the first time since Spider-Man Homecoming, also great. And everything about this movie is spectacular. Say that again. But I just can't get out of my mind how miserable Peter is throughout the entire film, because in the John Watts directed Spider-Man MCU trilogy, no disrespect to Mr. Watts or his collaborators or what have you, but it felt different from what I'm used to in Spider-Man stories, which is an interesting take, but when you're adapting Marvel Comics' most popular character into this shared film franchise with other Marvel Comics characters, you would think we should keep it classic while also adapting stories that had not been adapted before, or developing our own story that is unique while still retaining the classic elements. But they did not do that, which disappointed me, but I still like those movies. But this movie stands above it in the sense that we see Peter dealing with the consequences of his actions, which, you know, we had seen before, but it feels so much more visceral here. And we also see Peter having to face the truth when Mary Jane learns who he is in this movie, and when she says, "I don't love you because I don't know who you are," it feels heartbreaking because you've seen these characters grow and change over 4 films, plus the 2 Avengers movies that Spider-Man was in, and you metatextually, you know that Tom Holland and Zendaya are married in real life, so you know the chemistry is there, you know that they truly love each other. So when you see it on film that she doesn't love him, it's, oh my gosh. And, you know, at the end, Ned remembers who Spider-Man is, and they do their cool handshake, which is nice, but I don't think that they're going to be in the next movie, which I'm fine with. That opens the door for Peter to be with Felicia Hardy or Gwen Stacy in this universe, or, you know, someone else. But as a Peter MJ fundamentalist, it breaks my heart, but I understand what they're going for, and I enjoy the execution of how they did it. So I just think that this story is incredible. It takes Sam Raimi's earnest approach to the character, and it elevates it by having Spider-Man being able to interact with other Marvel heroes and having all of this history, because in Spider-Man 2, Peter had only been Spider-Man for like 2 years. But here, he's been doing it for 10 years, so it just feels that much more emotionally impactful because he has all of this history. And that's not to discredit Spider-Man 2. I still adore that film. But Spider-Man Brand New Day just feels different in a good way. And that is why I have to give this movie 5 stars out of 5 stars, because it just feels like the quintessential Spider-Man movie that tackles the trauma that he went through and has the high-flying action and has the quips and it has the connections to the other Marvel characters and it has all of these great aspects of it. And the post-credit scene, or the application that Ned develops to track Spider-Man's movements so he can figure out who he is, that in the post-credit scene shows us that Spider-Man has been transported to Battle World. So the alien costume, baby, let's go! Hopefully we get a proper adaptation. As much as I love Spider-Man the Animated Series, Avi Arad, who was one of the producers on that and who produced all of the films, ruined the alien costume by forcing John Semper, the showrunner, to fast-track Venom and Hobgoblin into season 1, mucking up his plans. But he's like, I gotta get Venom because the toys. And I was like, oh my gosh, man. But that's the whole rant in and of itself. But hopefully we get a proper adaptation where during Secret Wars Spider-Man gets the black costume, and when he figures out that it is a symbiote, he can go to the Fantastic Four and say, get this crap off of me. And then when he gets it off of himself with the church bells, and Eddie Brock is in the church about to commit suicide, it gets on him. The symbiote tells him, hey, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. And he's like, oh, now I can ruin his life. Then we get Venom. And then we get a proper adaptation of Venom. But yes, Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day is the cream of the crop. It is now my favorite movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is now my favorite Spider-Man movie. Destin Daniel Cretton, thank you so much for directing this movie. And thank you to the writer, to the producers, for the executive producers, for the visual effects artists, for the composer, for the actors, for the marketing team, for everyone for making this movie. You all did a great job. And Marvel Studios, I need you to just buy back the film rights to Hulk and Spider-Man from Universal and Sony, because this is getting ridiculous. Just buy back the fucking film rights and make Hulk 2, then make Spider-Man 5 and 6, and just do it, please. Thank you. And thank you to you, my dear viewer, for watching this video, for taking the time out of your day, and I really appreciate it. And if you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, share, hype, and in the description you'll find the links to my podcast, social media profiles, and Patreon page and merch store. So if you'd like to support this show financially, I'd greatly appreciate that. You get a slew of benefits like early access to videos and episodes of the podcast. You can also read my original writing projects. You get Patreon exclusive videos, and you get updates on the show. And on my merch store you can get a t-shirt, coffee mug, sweatshirt, long sleeve shirt with the show's logo on it and funny quotes. And thank you so much once again. I'll see you in the next video.